Yesterday, the mayor gave an update for state legislative funds, and he mentioned Roadwork. And so the question that we had was, why is it going to cost between $37 and $40 million to cut a road for Highway 132? And I wasn't clear if this was temporary access or if this was paved with curb gutter sidewalk, underground utilities. So I'm just hoping you can help us better understand. And I bring this up because, you know, the mayor indicated that some of the recovery funds would be used for infrastructure, and we agree. There is a clear need for roads in the area. So hoping you can help us understand what this road is supposed to look like and why the cost estimate is so high.
First of all, what is permitted of us to do is to put back the road to the previous function, and also to sometimes to, or if they can allow us to current standard. So we're looking at 12-foot lanes, one of each direction, and also 10-foot wide shoulders. Within that typical section of roadway, we're going to have, before we can put on the sub-base course, which is the aggregate first that goes on there, we would have to either fill or cut. What we mean by grading, and then we put the layer of base sub-base course, and then a layer of base course on top of that for the temporary road. Finish that with the asphalt concrete pavement and striping, and also signs and markings and guardrails where necessary to provide the permanent road. The numbers that we have presented so far are again based on basically educated assumptions, particularly with the excavation and backfill, which has a big impact on the cost. So we assume certain depths of cut and backfill on these preliminary numbers. So with the upcoming survey data and topo that we are going to get, we're going to redesign to provide or restore to previous function, and those should lead us or give us more detailed numbers that everybody wants. Those numbers, again, will also be as a basis for the 428 alternative program that we have with FEMA, and also will be submitted for federal highways for Highway 132.
Does anything prevent Public Works from calling up Neil Azevedo and saying, Neil, let's just cut a temporary road?
Yes. As a condition of receipt of federal funding, we have to follow the federal highways /DOT requirements, which means that we had to do the NEPA permitting, also the NPDES, SMA, and other permitting that we need to do to be able to start working once they approve.
One sec, I'm going to interject here. So that's 100% reimbursement for permanent road restoration, though, correct?
Let me clear that up. So for the temporary road, they would pay 100% of the work that is completed up to October 4th or 5th. Thereafter, it's non-participation. That means they're not going to participate. That's why our goal is to finish the road by that date, the temporary road by that date.
Why couldn't we use some of the money that's been given to us from the governor already? I mean, I'm looking at this breakdown of priorities, a budget summary that was presented by Director Lay and Roy Takimoto, where they allocate $5.7 million out of the governor's 10 to get people home by restoring access. So I'm assuming if it's going to be a road like was created for getting access back to Pohoiki, it's not going to cost the county more than $1 million to restore access similar to that sort of road. I'm willing to bite the bullet and just spend that million if that's what it's going to take to cut a road and not wait for the 100% reimbursement.
Yeah, let me just clarify on the Highway 132 that is under federal highways. And for Pohoiki and the roads and the rest of the lava inundated county roads are under FEMA. For the FEMA portion, as a condition of the 428 alternative procedure, we cannot touch the road until the money is obligated. In order for HAIMA or FEMA to be able to obligate the money, we need to submit to them that detailed estimate, which will be given to them after the design and the estimates are completed. So thereafter, and I'm not sure how long it will take for them to give a decision to okay and obligate the money. So that's for the 428 FEMA projects. For the federal Highway 132 project, we are right now waiting for the grading permit process to be finalized, and we are waiting for or working with Ship D to get that thing done. Also, we are also waiting for the private owners to give us their right of entry that we have sent maybe a few weeks ago. So we need all those to basically put the package together and be able to get the project started once the funding is available.
I'm sorry, so we can or cannot go ahead and just pave a road out there? Not even pave, just cut a road out there right now?
No, we cannot unless you use our own money. Otherwise, yeah, that's true. We have to finish the permitting first. Yeah, technically we cannot. But what I can tell you is we've been calling them, our partner agencies, to help us. We have reached out to people and also with other departments to find people who can help us to get the permitting done.
Not even a temporary road?
No.
Why can't we? I mean, just from gauging from what the community is asking for, I'm just wondering why it really is that we cannot just cut a temporary road, because we'd have to cut a temporary road anyway to put pavement on. There had to be some kind of cut into the landscape to create the road that would come after.
Yeah, so pretty much what we're waiting for to be able to move ahead with Highway 132 is the grading permit. And it is now with Department of Land and Natural Resources, Ship D section.
How long on that permit?
I believe must have been there already about month and a half. I just had a call yesterday to them again, and also follow up with email. But I can understand also with their limited resources. But yeah, if anybody else who can help us, that would be welcome.
I just think with the community reaching out to us to help them for the last few months, and with PGV's ability to cut their road in 5 days, and our inability to create any kind of access route back there besides going through private property, and this would be a big win for Public Works and for us and for the people who live there all at once. So the sooner the better. But I think you guys understand that already. How do we go about permitting the Pohoiki Road?
Would be a similar process. It doesn't have to do with NEPA CADEX, but it has to clear the state Section 343 environmental process. Also, again, if you touch more than 1 acre or more, we need the NPDES permit and also grading permit. And if it's within the SMA area, then we need the SMA area permit as well. And right of interest, of course, to the abutting properties that will be affected.
What does SHPD stand for?
State Historic Preservation Division.
Do you need their clearance if you're already on the same alignment?
Yes, we do. Anything that if you grade or if you grade move material 100 cubic yard or more, and also cut 5 feet or more, or cut or fill, you need the grading permit per our Hawaii County Code.
Okay, thank you.
And I just want to add that basically when PGV was able to start the project, they were under the proclamation, so some of the permits that normally is required were suspended at that time.
Could we amend our code to create a temporary emergency road standard that we could use to justify cutting a road right now?
As far as the standards, I don't think it's going to make a difference unless you change the codes, grading requirements, or you extend the proclamation for emergency.
Okay, while you folks think about it, here's my thoughts. If this requirement for getting a grading grubbing permit hinges on the county code, I propose we change the code. And what the administration should try also think about is policy changes that this body could actually do by way of amendments to the code. And we could craft it in a manner that we could honestly be more expedient than State Historic Preservation Division. This body has seen burial plans take 5 years. So when we talk about efficiency or effectiveness, if there was a way from a policy shift or a legislative shift, I suspect that would go quicker than what we're doing right now by waiting for the grading and grubbing permit, waiting for his State Historic Preservation Society to sign off, waiting for the NPEDES permit. And I hear the community, we're marching up on 1 year of this event. Just food for thought. There's always another way. I really believe that. I'm going to yield. Thank you.
I think we have a chance here. Instead of spending $10 million and waiting until October, we could spend under $1 million and cut a road in a very short period of time, being a little bit creative but following the rules that are set already. And if you guys were willing to work on that, I bet we could proceed with this, because I can already see it in my head. Just from everything that was said just now. I didn't know most of what I just heard, but everything put together in the last 15 minutes would save the county money, get the people who need a road, and solve a lot of problems for a lot of people.
You know, when we were, it was quite a long period of time while the Daniel K. Inouye Highway was being constructed, and then the realignment was happening on the going down to Hilo, and we were allowed to drive on the temporary road while the permanent road continued to be constructed. So I was just wondering if something like that could happen and still be within the federal standards or requirements.
From what I understand, with the Poinacoy Street extension, basically they have wider right-of-ways compared to what we have with Highway 132. But going back again to the requirements of where we are today as far as trying to get the temporary road. So with the survey being done, once that is with our engineering division, they actually already started designing for the road. So the grading permit might even come before the design. So we're gonna reach out again to our friends with ShipD to help us facilitate their review and approval. Again, we're still waiting for the survey. Hopefully it comes in a few weeks so that our engineers can finish up on the design. So with that, with those two, and hopefully the right of entry agreements or requests from the property owners come in as well, then we technically can right away after that hopefully start the temporary road once those are settled and accomplished.
I think, as Ms. Kirkowitz mentioned, as the committee of, as the chair of the Committee on Planning and then the chair of Committee of Public Works, I think there is a way to find some creative workarounds. And I am combing through that Chapter 10 that was mentioned by the director, and there's a section for waivers at Section 10-5. And I think at the end of the day, we want to try and find some creative, innovative ways within the frameworks that we have. Because when I read this, there's actually an opportunity for the director, when there is undue hardship, for a way for him to make a determination that we could apply a waiver process. But that's just me thinking outside the box. And if at the end of the day, if there are some code amendments, let's try and find that way forward.